So you've had a listing active for 60 days. Open houses, ads, showings, you've done the work. Then your seller calls. The market isn't where they need it. So they're going to rent the place out for a year and revisit selling later. Unless one specific clause is in your listing agreement, one most agents never add, you will walk away from all of it with nothing. Let me show you exactly what to add and why the standard agreement leaves you exposed to this. This is one of those gaps that doesn't show up until it costs you in your pocketbook. So let's close that gap before it hits your pocketbook. So let's get to it. But first, I'm Karrie Hill, lawyer turned realtor and co-founder of Smart Agent Alliance, an eXp Realty sponsor team. We help agents work more effectively and efficiently by bringing together the resources from Smart Agent Alliance, the Wolfpack, and eXp Realty into one organized agent portal. Our agents get access to a personalized link page, marketing templates, an agent attraction funnel, elite training, and the systems they need to build both production and revenue share. And because we're part of the Wolfpack, our agents also have access to weekly masterminds, modern training, and one of the strongest support communities at eXp. All for no cost to our agents. Why this happens more than agents realize. Homes are taking longer to sell. Median days on market has climbed back roughly to 52 days, with more than 40% more sellers than buyers nationally. The "I'll just rent it out and wait" decision is increasingly common. That isn't a marketing failure. It's a seller exercising their legal right to take the property off the market. And here's the problem. Most standard listing agreements were built to protect you from a seller who closes a deal behind your back. They're nearly silent on the seller who doesn't sell at all and instead converts the home to a rental. The standard agreement's blind spot, line by line. Most forms make commission payable when a ready, willing, and able buyer is procured, when a sale closes, or when the seller contracts with a buyer introduced during the listing period or the production or safety clause. That production or safety clause covers one scenario, a sale already in motion. It does nothing when the property simply doesn't sell and the seller pivots to renting. No procuring clause, no buyer, no closing, and under the default commission payable at closing language, no commission. Your 60 or 90 days of work walks out the door with them. And exactly what your listing agreement says and what you're allowed to add does depend on your state forms and what your broker or lawyer says works. So I'm providing the concept here, confirm the specific terms and language for your market. What to add? 2 protection scenarios exist. Most agents cover only one. Scenario A, the seller sells during the listing agreement term. That, of course, is handled by the standard agreement. Scenario B, the seller withdraws their home for sale and rents the property during or just after the original listing period. That is usually not covered by the standard listing agreement. Here's an idea. And this is not legal advice, so confirm with your broker, but here's an idea of a clause that may be added to your listing agreement. Sample clause. In the event the seller withdraws the property from sale and places it into a rental arrangement, lease, rental management agreement, or any occupancy by a non-owner party within X days of the listing commencement date, seller agrees to pay listing broker a fee equal to X percentage of 1 month's rent, a flat fee, as compensation for marketing services rendered. Note that this is not a standard leasing commission. It's a fee triggered specifically by the pivot from the listed for sale to the rental, the case where you did the work and the market and the seller didn't cooperate. By the way, my background as an attorney is why our team thinks about this before the problem happens, not after. And I'm absolutely not giving you legal advice for your situation. I'm just showing you the kind of gap worth raising with your broker. You'll need to tweak the idea to fit your state's rules. Quick thing before we go further. If you find this useful, hey, subscribe. We publish this kind of breakdown every week, and it's the easiest way to make sure the next one finds you. And also motivate us to keep doing these. Why most agents skip it and how to raise it. Most agents skip this paragraph that we've been talking about because they're afraid it will sound awkward, aggressive, or like they're already assuming the seller may not sell. But that's not how this conversation needs to be framed. This is not about pressuring the seller. It's about clarity. You can say something like, my role is to help you sell the property, and that is the plan. But occasionally, sellers later decide to rent their property instead. Since my team begins investing time, marketing, preparation, strategy, and resources right away, this clause addresses the renting possibility so there's no surprises later on. This paragraph simply says that if the property is withdrawn from the sales market and converted to a rental during the listing period, there is a small agreed fee to help offset the work already performed and expenses already incurred. It's not a leasing commission. It merely provides minimal compensation for time and money already spent by me and my team. This conversation is much easier than trying to squeak out some form of payment after the seller has already decided not to sell. And it's much better than walking away without any payment. Any reasonable seller usually understands that professional marketing and your time has value. And frankly, if a seller strongly objects to a modest rental conversion fee, that tells you something useful before you invest weeks or months into the listing. Like, it may signal that seller is not fully committed to selling, or that they want the option to use your pricing, preparation, and marketing work without any responsibility if they later pivot to renting. A broader clause. One more point. A clause like the one I went through covers renting, but some sellers may just decide to withdraw their home from the sale. Check with your broker to see if your clause can cover that much broader possibility. If your broker says, yes, that's fine, then your clause would go from something like, in the event the seller withdraws the property from sale and places it into a rental arrangement, into just, in the event the seller withdraws the property from sale. Then seller agrees to pay listing broker a fee equal to X amount of dollars as compensation for marketing services rendered. 3 variations to note. This protection clause idea doesn't need to be presented the same way to every seller. The more committed the seller is to selling, the lighter the conversation can be. Here's 3 possible variations to note. Motivated seller, clear intent to sell. Standard listing agreement is fine. Add the rental clause as a brief just in case. Most sellers will agree to this without pushback. Seller who might rent if it doesn't sell quickly. Wow, there's a red flag phrase. Then your protection clause becomes a more in-depth conversation. Be sure to delineate your investment in time, money, and expertise that deserves compensation. Previously listed and expired. Okay, this seller has already demonstrated they may not sell. Address it directly. Last time your house didn't sell and your listing expired. Let's talk about what we should do if your home isn't selling again. Talk about renting possibility and your protection clause. Also have an upfront agreement about lowering the price of the home if that's what it takes. If the seller seems unreasonable, I'd consider not taking that listing. Hey, if you're ready to see the full EXP structure, check out our 18-minute inside look. It's the fastest, clearest breakdown of EXP you'll find anywhere, and it includes our stuff about Smart Agent Alliance. The link is in the description. And if you want to strategize what your business would look like at EXP, we're happy to talk. Contact information is also in the description. If you want to know how to talk to a client who still wants to price their home like it's 2022 peak, check out the video on screen. And to learn more about how brokerage consolidations can hurt luxury brands, check out the other one. Thank you for watching and have a great day.